Just like that, we're back. It's a Views from Section 400 podcast. Matt, Jack, and Brian bring you along for this action-packed episode. I am so excited. We have a former NFL player coming on. Chris Manno will join us here momentarily for an AFC West preview and beyond. A bunch of NFL questions, a bunch of NFL headlines, everything in between. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned. I can't wait. The guys are ecstatic to bring you guys this episode. Like I said, it's Views from Section 400, and we're sponsored by SeatGeek. So, after a word from our quick sponsor, enjoy the interview.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's tough to say, but the summer is almost over. With the 80-degree weather and sunny days coming to an end, there's no better time than now to head over to SeatGeek. Whether you want to get to a ball game up in Section 400 this summer, check out an outdoor concert before the weather turns to rain and snow, or go to a football game, yep, those are happening in August, SeatGeek is the premier ticket app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. All of you up in Section 400 can get $20 off your first ticket purchase with code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. Again, that's code VIEWSFROM400 for $20 off your first purchase at checkout. You can click the link in the description of the show to download the app, go to your favorite event, use our code, $20 off.
So now we'll welcome on our very special guest, first guest ever on the podcast up in Section 400, Chris Manno. Awesome to have the guy on. Like I just said, first ever guest. A little bit about Chris. Played football at Hofstra, spent some time in the league with the Panthers and the Chiefs. Chris, welcome aboard. What are you up to now, man?
Well, I appreciate you all having me. Maddie, I've known you since you're a kid, your family, so it's great to be here. What am I doing? I finished playing ball, obviously, a couple years ago, kind of made the move over into sports media. I trained some athletes, but right now I'm kind of heading up sports, the sports division at Valuetainment down in South Florida with the great Patrick Bet-David. A lot of people familiar with this PVD podcast. It usually sits about like 2 or 3 behind like Rogan and Tucker. So they crush it over there. We're about to really like launch that sports branch. That's kind of what I'm doing. So should be sick.
Yeah, super cool stuff. So Matt mentioned you played in the league. You've been through training camp. As much as we've loved to analyze these divisions, we've been doing it for a couple of weeks now. We never got the experience of what it's like to go through that grind, kind of be there, be in those positional battles. Can you just kind of give us the lens of a player, what it's like being in that August heat, kind of fighting for your life to get a roster spot? Just take us through that.
Yeah, so obviously my road there was a bit unorthodox. So I was probably among the lowest guys on the totem pole. I was an undrafted free agent, so it wasn't like I went in there. For the guys who were, locked, I don't want to say it's like a vacation, but it's a good time. Like you hang with your boys again, you haven't seen them in a while. You guys go out to practice plays, everybody's just kind of working the bugs out to get to the regular season. But for a guy like me who was just fighting every day, hoping they didn't ask for my playbook, it's tough. It's mentally straining. In hindsight, I wish I probably would have enjoyed it more because every day I'm waking up like, is this going to be the day? Like, I got to have the best practice I've ever had today, which is kind of a cool way to approach things. It's probably good, big picture to approach every day like it could be your last, but super stressful. But it is what it is. It's a lot of it is mental, tons of meetings, long days. They start early, they end late. Every night you're going back to wherever you're at, dorm room, hotel, because they keep you for the first couple of weeks, everybody together. If you're a guy who's been there 5 years with a place, you don't get to live in your place. At least this is what it was like in Kansas City. You didn't get to live in your place until after the first preseason game. So the first 3 weeks, you're wherever you are. So you have a roommate, you're studying. I mean, I'm trying to learn 15 new pages every night of the playbook because I didn't get there until the beginning of camp. Like I didn't do the offseason program with them like I did the Panthers. So I'm already playing catch up because I signed late. But you know what I mean? It's a blast though. You're in the league, man. It's everything you imagine it would be. Best food you can get. I was kind of like a fan while I was there. It was almost like I'm sharing a huddle with Jamal Charles. My one-on-ones are against Eric Berry. Then in Carolina, I'm playing against Luke Kuechly and Josh Norman. So, bro, it was a blast, man. It's playing football for a job. It's everything you imagine it is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you mentioned the food. Which one was better, Carolinas or Kansas City?
Well, Carolina, I got to have in the stadium. So, like, I got like real good sort of the cafeteria on site for every place is insane. They like I call it a cafeteria, but it's really like 5 restaurants, whatever you want to get. And in Kansas City, I was at a university for training camp. So we were at like Southwest Missouri State or something. So I mean, it is what it is. It wasn't bad food, but it was college food. And then in Carolina at the stadium every day, it's basically like same thing with KC when you get to the stadium, but it's like anything I wanted, they give me because you know the deal. Your body's your tool at that level, so they got to fuel it properly. So it was awesome. A guy like me who's trying to keep weight on, they give me meals to take home. I was loving it. It was amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Well, Chris, you were talking about, during that time at training camp, that's some of the most stressful days, long days, day in and day out. What was, and I'm sure this is different for every single player, but what was your motivation, when you were waking up in the morning to get after it, attack every day, just keep going, even though it was super stressful? What was it for you that kept you going?
I guess all the work I'd put in prior. I mean, like I started late. Like if you know my story, I didn't start playing ball till I was 17. So pretty much everything I did, I probably wasn't supposed to do anyway. So I kind of was there. I was still super hungry. The flame burned like real strong for me still because I'd only been playing about 5 years at the time. A lot of guys start young. Their dads ride them or their coaches ride them. And by the time they get to the league, it's just, it's like I'm over this. I'm tired. I can't work at the same level I used to. For a guy like me, it was still fresh. So I was hungry and passionate about it. Bro, I loved being there. I was playing football for a job. So it wasn't hard for me to stay motivated. I believed I was going to make the team. I mean, I made it till the end of training camp as a guy who was 13th on the depth chart to start. I got some edification after the first preseason game. I made a couple special teams tackles. I made a good play on a guy who was a Pro Bowler there. So that was cool. That was always helpful going into the meetings the next day and then making a point to say, look, Chris didn't get a ton of reps at wideout, but, show him some love because he took this Pro Bowler, drove him off the field, and then made a tackle the next play. So for me, that was cool, And guys show you love and give you respect if you do what you're supposed to. It's not like it's everybody's fighting for their lives, but at the end of the day, like the guys who are secure with their spots, they weren't worried about me trying to take their job. It's also a matter of you're not just trying to make the Chiefs. Like if I'm out there and my first game was against the Bucks, I made 2 tackles and made a play like that. Other teams see that film too. So a guy like me is thinking, it'd be great to play for the Chiefs, but I understand you kind of get a feel while you're there. I'm like, so there's 13 wideouts in the room. Dwayne Bowe's not getting cut. They just drafted a guy in the first round. They just signed Steve Breaston to a big contract. So who's going to be there. And mathematically, I probably wasn't going to be there. And I knew that. So it was basically like, what can I put down in these 4 preseason games for another team to be like, oh, that kid can run a little bit. Like, what's his deal? Let's see what he's got. So obviously that's your motivation too. You're trying to show out for everybody, not just your Chiefs,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, you talked about those positional battles and a guy like Dwayne Bowe and the first round pick. I mean, how willing were they to maybe help you out, give you some insight, give you some tips, or were they like, that mindset you said, you're like, I'm probably not going to be here at the end of camp. So were they kind of like that, or they help you out and nice about it?
Now, so like Bo was super cool, but like the guys see a guy like me and they'll, like I said, it's ball, bro. They respect you if you can play, if you do the right thing, if you respect them. No one's going to bust your balls. Like the guys at that level, like Bo would help me a lot. But we played different positions, so there was almost so much he can do. A guy like Dexter McCluster was there when I was there. So he was a slot. He was a guy who worked from the backfield, worked the slot, worked returning. So he helped me quite a bit. A guy like Jamal, like when we did our running drills in the beginning, oddly enough, I look like I look, but I can run. So Jamal and I would be the 2 guys finishing stuff at the top. And he would turn back and give me love. Like he'd bust my ass. He was so fast. But at the end of sprints, he'd be like, damn, this kid was right next to me the whole time. And they show love and they see how hard you work. And now they were cool. The funny thing is I have a story about another undrafted rookie free agent. He went to Southern Connecticut State and he was trying to tell me this dumb story. And I was like, bro, what are you crazy? He would tell me like, it's tradition that you you a couple of nights in camp, stay up the whole night learning the book, but don't sleep. I'm like, bro, you're a moron. You think I'm dumb? I'm going to not go to sleep? And I don't know. He was trying to fill my head with like some crazy things, like, and you could tell he's trying to like position himself and maneuver, but you make a couple of plays and the coaches seem to like you. And some of the guys at the bottom get a little, I guess, territorial of their spots. But now all the guys who were there are cool, man. The same thing with Carolina. All the guys were real cool to me in Carolina. Coach gave me like a nickname right away in Kansas City, so that stuck a little bit. And the players were cool with it. So, everyone was great to me. But I can see where at the bottom of the depth chart, like guys are, like I said, that one guy was trying to maneuver. Like if I was stupid, I'm like, oh, this guy's been here a little longer than me. If that's what he says, I'm going to do it. Like my roommate's going to, like, you're crazy, bro.
Right. And you stay up all night and then next day of practice.
What, I'm a zombie the next day? Yeah, no thanks, pal.
Then you get the knock on your door asking for the playbook.
Yeah, ridiculous. No way.
I'm so curious. What was that nickname that you got out in KC? Can you share that?
Right. He called me Long Island Lightning because I'm from Long Island, New York, and I ran well. So he called me from my workout, right after my workout. That's what he called me the whole time I was there. So that worked out well.
Was he from Long Island too?
No, it was Todd Haley.
Oh, there you go.
Coach Haley was from Coach Haley. I don't know where Coach is from, but yeah, you probably know him from the Steelers, right? Because he was your OC for a long time. But he was my head coach, and our staff was crazy then. Like our quality control guy was Nick Sirianni. So like Nick Sirianni was like I don't want to say like he was higher than like a do boy, but he was like at the point of his career, it was like Nick do this, Nick do that. Very smart. You could tell like super early this guy was with it. So he went from there, I think, to San Diego or there to Indianapolis, but you knew right away that Coach Sirianni was going to be important. And then I had Todd Haley and Romeo Crennel were my coaches. So
another legend.
Yeah, for sure.
Sirianni is Matt's boy.
Yeah, I mean, that's my guy right there. So I love the insight you provide. I mean, Chris, you're AFC, you're the Jets. You're not a big Giants guy. Brian's a huge Giants guy, so he hates to hear that Sirianni love right there.
Yeah, you know what, man? Yeah, I didn't really love him, to be honest, because he kind of like he was kind of like a dick to me because I was like nobody, but you could tell that he knew what he was talking about. That's for sure. But like my workout was pretty cool. It was like Sirianni, Haley, the OC at the time was Jim Zorn. And then like there was like important people and me on the field. So that was kind of strenuous, but it was pretty sick because I worked out real well. I had a great workout. So like I was excited to have all of them there. But yeah, Sirianni was out there for that.
All right. Well, you think it's time we get into this AFC West Divisional preview, boys?
Yeah, I think so. Chris, you know the deal. Obviously, you know the 4 teams out there. I think we're going to start with the Broncos, jump over to the Raiders, got the Chargers, and then we'll end it, obviously, with your former team, the Kansas City Chiefs, who look a little different now, going for a third Super Bowl than maybe they did back when you were playing for them. Well, Jack, why don't you kick us off with the Broncos, and, we'll roll from there.
Yeah, so Denver Broncos, I mean, we all know that they added Bo Nix, the former Auburn Tiger, War Eagle Brian. But he played great at Oregon in his final year. That's the big pickup for them. Sean Payton in year 2. Last year, I think it's safe to say that it was an absolute disaster in Denver. It's kind of still is. The whole Russell Wilson experiment didn't work. Now their quarterback room is filled with Bo Nix, Jared Stidham, and somebody else probably not worth mentioning.
Oh, stop that. So disrespectful.
Zach Wilson. I know it's Chris's boy, but
hey, we talked about it when they signed him. In that altitude, his deep ball is gonna look good.
Anyway, we all got our opinions, but the quarterback room is definitely a huge issue for this team. I mean, I would like to say that traditionally the Denver defense has been pretty good, and Sean Payton defenses have been pretty good outside of the Bounty Gate, but they had a 70 burger dropped on them by McDermott and the Dolphins last year. So, offense, defense, nothing's looking up coming off of 2023. I'm curious to see what you guys think 2024 brings for them. Vegas has their over-under set at 5.5 wins.
Yeah. Well, I will ask you guys some questions here real quick, and I'm interested to get your takes, and then we can pick the over/under here, maybe get some more clarity. So, like you mentioned, the quarterback room is 66% Auburn, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Does Bo Nix, Jared Stidham, or Zach Wilson earn the majority of the starts on this team?
All right, so yeah, 100%. I think everything begins and ends in the quarterback room on almost every team. If you look every year, the teams that consistently are good are the teams that consistently get good quarterback play. I think Bo Nix is probably going to be the guy they go with. Apparently, Sean Payton loves him. You don't draft a guy that early, and he's a Sean Payton type of quarterback. The only thing is he's a rookie, though. Like, as a rookie in the NFL, unless you're like C.J. Stroud and Ben Roethlisberger, it's a tough go. So I don't really expect any rookie quarterback to come in and really thrive. I mean, I'm not a monster Bo Nix guy anyway. I think he was like, the fourth or fifth? Was he the fourth quarterback off the board or the fifth quarterback off the board?
Yeah.
He definitely was fifth, late, right? But like you got to think.
I think he was.
Drake May went before him, and Drake May's already getting. They're already looking to cut this guy.
Right. Well, and again, like I'm not even a big. See, I personally don't like Sean Payton. Like I've had a couple things that really rub me wrong about the guy. First of all, you guys mentioned Bounty Gate earlier. One of my college teammates who works his ass off to make a team got his knees chopped out by that sucker's team that year and never played again. So I already hate him. And I got a bit of a relationship with Russ Wilson. So to see the way Russell he won 6 out of his last 9, was 26 touchdowns to 8 picks, and he got benched. I'm not a big Sean Payton guy, but obviously, yes, he's an offensive mastermind. So I think Bo Nix probably has the inside track on the job. But Stidham, he popped in there last year, and he's shown that he's kind of quick to get off of that. I'm telling you, do not sleep. I get murdered on Twitter for this. But, there's some people who love him, like me. I actually think Zach Wilson has a ton of physical talent. I think he kind of found himself in a situation that no quarterback could ever be successful in New York. He had 3 different coaches, multiple different systems, every offensive lineman hurt. I think he could be a lot better than he's shown yet. But again, like you said, I think Bo Nix probably has the first crack at it. I don't expect a ton from him. They lost Jerry Jeudy. And on the defensive side of the ball, Surtain's a stud, but on the other side, who's it going to be? They lost Justin Simmons too, right? He was playing safe.
Yeah, he hasn't signed with the team.
I know. Who was he
Weird.
talking? I think he was tweeting back and forth with somebody yesterday, but I don't know. Like somebody on a team, almost like giving people the impression he might go there. But yeah, right now he is unsigned. Yeah, I mean, I think unquestionably that's probably who I think's going to be, in fourth in this division. So.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, are you going Knicks too? I think I'm going to go Knicks.
Oh yeah, I guess I got to give an answer too. I was just thinking about Zach Wilson's deep ball in the high altitude, but I would go Bo Nix. Chris, you said it right. They drafted him in the first round. There's not a clear star guy ahead of him. Like a Falcons situation. Not that Kirk Cousins is a star, but a guy he paid a boatload of money to have Penix sit behind him. There's no one. It's get Bo Nix in there and see what the kid's got. So I think Nix is probably the guy, and the other guys are there maybe for competition. I don't know how much they'll provide, but we'll see.
Yeah,
and then even think about if Bo Nix gets hurt, like his backup, you're going the rest of the way with Jarrett Stidham or Zach Wilson. So
or Eagle.
I mean, you think how many games do you think Sean Payton's worth a year? Like how many wins do you think having Sean Payton's worth? 2,
just because
1, 2?
He's the coach.
Yeah. Like I think he can get. I think I don't like him, but I think if Bo Nix gets hurt in week 6 and Stidham's got to play like 5, I think Sean Payton will have him prepared actually better than a lot of other coaches would. So I think for what that's worth, I think he'll probably get the most out of every one of these quarterbacks, even though none of them are really killers.
Right, definitely the right coach to have for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I like how you brought up the weapons in that offense, or I guess the lack thereof.
Right.
But my next question to you guys. So gold was discovered in present-day Denver in 1858. Is there a piece of fantasy gold on this offense?
On the offense?
No.
Portland Sun, and that's it.
I'm just going to say no.
They're gonna be down by a shit ton every game, and they're gonna be throwing the ball to Courtland Sutton. I don't know. I mean, fantasy isn't about teams. You see number one guys every year who throw up huge fantasy stats, and their team is 3-14 or whatever the number is.
Fair enough.
The problem, though, and it's my position, so I know it well. The problem about the wide receiver position is you're a prisoner to everybody else. Like, you can run great routes on every trip down the field. You can read the defense perfectly, sit in the void you're supposed to. If everything else before it doesn't work out perfectly, offensive line's got to do their job. Quarterback's got to make the right read, and he's got to deliver a good ball. That's where the issue, happens. Courtland Sutton's cold. We've seen him produce before, but you got to get him the football for him to produce. And I don't know, man. I'm real down on that quarterback room, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear you. And we'll get
especially
into that too.
When Max Crosby's chasing them down against them, when the Chiefs defense is nasty. So these are the guys they're going to be playing against every week. So Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. It's like, good luck, guys. Like, What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And we'll get into that in the Raiders soon a little bit with Devontae Adams. But, Bri, why don't you get us going with these questions?
Yeah, well, I think I already know the answer to this one after your answer to the last question. But Javonte Williams has looked slim and shifty in training camp after he cut out midnight snacks from his diet. Can he set a mile-high total in rushing yards for his career? He has never gone over 1,000.
No shot.
Yeah. He's gonna get the most work he's ever gotten, right? So we'll see. I mean, they should. It's weird, though, right? Sean Payton's never had like a run-dominant offense, but I guess he's never been in a position where he's had to. He's been able to lean on Drew Brees for a million years and then Russell. So I guess I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you said it right again. I'm going to say yes. I've always been a Javonte Williams fan. He's coming off an injury last year. This year he's going to be bright. And we've talked about it. The quarterbacks are no good. They're going to have to run the ball to have some success. So give me Javonte for 1,000.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you. I like Javonte this year. I think he could be a steal in some fantasy drafts as long as he stays slim and shifty. All right, well, we'll wrap up the Broncos because I know we don't need to spend that much time on this team. But everyone in Colorado is seemingly high nowadays. They were the first state to legalize cannabis. Are you high on the Broncos? 5.5 win total? Or
no? I'm going to go under.
I mean, pick out their wins. Can they split with the Raiders? Can they split with Can they sweep the Chargers? I don't know. That's where their wins are coming from.
And they play the NFC East this year, right? Is that who the AFC West plays this year? I think they play the AFC East. So they're going to get games with the Jets. They're going to get games with the. I mean, you got to think they'll take one from the Patriots, right? I don't know. Maybe they won't take that one from the Patriots. They got to play the Jets. They got to play the Dolphins. They got to play Buffalo. I think Seattle, 3 out of the 4 of those they lose.
Like, there's just not many wins, and 5.5 is a big number. Yeah. I mean, it's essentially, you see them winning 6 games. I really don't. So I'll take the under. I'll go out on a limb, take the under here. I don't care about Sean Payton or whatever. Under all day.
Give me the under. Same.
All right, I think we're squad riding the under there. But that is the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Now for the Vegas Raiders. Brian, are you kicking us off with this one, or is Jack rolling again?
Yeah, I could talk some Raiders here. We'll be quick again. 2023 they went 8-9, but they were 5-4 once Antonio Pierce took over. And we've been over the quarterback room, talked about it in the last podcast. It'll either be Minshew or AOC. They lost Josh Jacobs. They did bring in Brock Bowers, and Devontae Adams is still there, and he's still healthy. But Chris, I actually want to ask you a question about Antonio Pierce. So during your time at Hofstra, you played for Joe Gardy and Dave Cohen, both former linebackers. Is there anything that they brought to their coaching style that you maybe see from Pierce from afar, or anything you think Pierce is bringing to this team to kind of add that grit?
Well, Coach Gardy, by the time I got to him, he was well into his 70s. So Coach was that fire that might have been there when he was younger. I think he was still fiery, but not the same way. Coach Cohen would scream a little bit. I played for Coach Rivera for a little while, but I think Antonio Pierce is different like that. I think he's definitely got the ear of the room. I know the players love him. They really went hard for him to get that job, get that interim tag removed. So I actually do think that they're like They remind me a little bit, not nearly as talented as the Lions last year, but they're going to be a pain in the ass because they're going to take on Antonio Pierce's identity the same way the Lions took on that Dan Campbell identity. So even if you beat the Raiders, you're going to be in for a dogfight every week. They're not going to quit. They're going to come because Antonio Pierce, if you watched him as a Giant growing up, I got to see him in New York. That's just the player he was. He was like a later round pick out of Illinois, and he played above his head his whole career, and he's just a emotion-filled, kind of infectious personality type of guy. You got to imagine if the players went to war for him like that, they like him. So they're going to play hard. I mean, every week's going to be a fight with them. Like I said, same feel as I got with Detroit last year. You're not going to come in there and walk over anybody with Dan Campbell or Antonio Pierce, guys like that, Same almost like a Mike Tomlin. Like these guys take on the identity of their coaches, and you're in for a tough one every week.
Yeah, I think it was the Ravens schedule we were looking at last week, and we saw the Raiders on there. They had a gauntlet in their first 5 games against the Chiefs and Cowboys and all these teams, and then the Raiders were in the middle. And we're like, that's not going to be an easy game either. Like the Ravens have a tough start to the season.
Yeah.
The Raiders have pieces all over the field. Like you said, Crosby's there. Their defense isn't horrible. I know the quarterback's a little dicey, but Devontae Adams itching for the ball. He's still under contract, and you've seen it. I don't know if you guys watched the Netflix show. He's bitching about getting the ball. You don't think they're not going to give him the ball? You think they're going to go into, hey, we need to tank mode when you have all this money locked up with Devontae Adams? I think, you said it great. Yeah. It's going to be tough.
No, they won't be tanking. They're going to come out firing to start out the season. But, if they come out firing to start the season and don't have success, I will not be surprised if Devontae is gone by the deadline.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I feel like Devontae's not long for Las Vegas. He's already – I mean, I didn't realize how pissed he was getting on that sideline. You heard him last year. Like he was literally saying, dude, I got to get out of here. I've never been hit this much in my life. Like, what other weapons do they have? I actually think Bowers is going to be cold, though. I wouldn't have been mad. The Jets wound up taking – that's my team. I like the Jets. So they wound up taking Olu from Penn State, which makes sense after all the tackle trouble they've had in the last bunch of years. But I was real, real high on Bowers, and if they would have taken him, I'd have been thrilled too. He's a freak, bro. He's going to have a good career, I think.
I think Bowers is going to be nasty. Nasty.
And I'm a big believer in when you have these young – not that Minshew's young, but these non-established, like, star quarterbacks, a good tight end is always like a security blanket for these guys. Just get him something short up the seam, let him find a void, and get the ball out to him quick. So I think Bowers will probably excel. That might make Devontae's life a little easier. But who's still out on the market, too, that I can't believe can't get a job for whatever reason is Renfro. I think Renfro is really good. And for whatever reason, they let him go, and nobody signed him yet. But, he was a good weapon, too, when they had him. I'm going to tell you who you shouldn't sleep on out there. He's actually really good. I had him on my show here months ago, and he was like a sleeper pick going in. His name is Dylan Laube, and he's like a scat back type of in like the McCaffrey kind of like mold. He's going to catch the ball out of the back, a little 5th round pick out of New Hampshire, but he's having a killer camp. Yeah. He tore apart the Senior Bowl, and he's like from around my way on Long Island. So as soon as he had that really good Senior Bowl week, I called him real quick. I said, Dill, come on the show. He wound up getting drafted, and he's supposedly carving everybody up in training camp. They're mismatching him on backers and stuff. So watch him. I think he could have a sneaky big year.
Where did he end up going?
Vegas.
He's with the Raiders.
Oh, he did go with the Raiders too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah, so I'm saying
dude.
5th round pick. So I'm saying don't be shocked if he catches a couple people sleeping. Like you look at him and you're like 5'9", white dude from Long Island, and bro, he's a nightmare out when they split him out against backers. He was eating guys up from like Power 5 schools the whole week at Senior Bowl. It was sick.
Dude, I remember the Senior Bowl. He was like lighting it on fire, and people were like, "Who the hell is this guy? He's playing Division I AA football."
The Laube talk was a great transition into my first question here. So obviously they lose Josh Jacobs, but they still have him. They still have Zamir White there. So I'm interested. Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark came out in 1981. Can this backfield rush for over 1981 yards? 13 NFL teams did it last year. The Raiders did not.
They're so weird in the sense their composition their skill players with Devontae and Bowers would tell you, yeah, they should, but then their quarterback is lacking so much that I'm almost like, though Minshew, I guess, is Minshew like looking like he's going to be the starter right now? Is that who it seems like it's going to be?
So, Coach was saying that, and I think this might just be like an Antonio Pierce, old head move, but he was saying there's still a quarterback competition between Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a big Jags fan, and I believe in Gardner Minshew. I thought that he was a pass away from taking the Colts to the playoffs last year.
Yep.
I think that he's going to come into Las Vegas and surprise people. Like you said, you think that they're going to be the team that doesn't go away. He's that kind of guy. He's got that dog that doesn't like to go away. So I think he's a great fit for him, and he's going to be the guy in Las Vegas.
No, I was just gonna say he's pretty much done that everywhere. Like, did he get drafted? Was he like Eastern Washington or something?
Yeah.
And it was like,
yes.
Did he get drafted or no? Like 5th, 6th round?
He did, but it was late.
Yeah. So he's kind of been overlooked everywhere. Like they tried to sit him at every stop so far, and he winds up finding his way on the field, and he's never really played terrible. So
he's
I
never
think
been bad. He was fine.
Kind of linked up with the Raiders that we were just talking about with Brock Bowers. When he was on the Eagles, he found Dallas Goedert early and often, and Goddard had a great year when Minshew took over. So I think that connects really well with the Brock Bowers take. And Brock Bowers, athleticism, and Goddard's athletic. But, Bowers is probably a little more athletic than Goddard is. So, I think he'll just find him in the flat, find him over the seam, wherever you got to do short routes. Could have a big year. I think he'll have a huge year.
Yeah, as he should. That's what I'm telling you. That's what all these successful quarterbacks do. You, especially the young ones who are just trying to learn the league, because having that good tight end down there makes everybody's life easier. So, and when you draft a guy that high, you want to get him the football anyway. So you look like you did the right thing,
Yeah.
And Matt, I love the transition there. I'll give you guys one more before we pick the over/under 6.5 wins. But raid weekend on Clash of Clans allows users to attack enemy bases 6 times per weekend. Does Brock Bowers, the new raider, find enemy end zones 6 times this season?
Yeah, I hate the way you introduced that, but
you know my question by now.
Yes, he's gonna have at least 6 touchdowns.
I agree. 6 touchdowns for Brock for sure.
Definitely over. I think he'll push double digits. Why not?
Yeah, that's the only
especially if they move Devontae, you know.
Yeah.
So
right.
But I think 6
100%.
is. I'm comfortable with 6 for sure.
All right,
6 TDs, and what's the over under on wins?
Last thing to do, 6.5 wins, over or under.
I actually think they get over. I think they get over 6.
That's just a weird line, dude.
I agree. I don't know, because I would think the most of the public's down on him. So anyway, I'm taking the over. 6.5 seems like a low line.
Yeah, the over.
I think Antonio.
It's
and I do think like I said, man, with the Antonio Pierce thing, I think he generates enough hunger and fire in the guys to fight out 6 wins.
Yeah. Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, they're not trying to lose football games, that's for sure.
Right.
Not at all. I'll definitely take – can they win 7 games? Yeah, I mean, they did last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they won 8-9 last year.
Yeah, 8-9. I
think they won – and I think they lost the bulk of them with McDaniels there. I think they were something like – they wound up winning them all with Antonio, so he's been good so far.
Yeah, that's a low line, dude. Give me the over.
So we're squad riding the under on the Broncos and the over on the Raiders so far. This is rare. We're all on the same page.
Rare.
Well, let's move right into the Chiefs, into the Chargers first before we get into the Chiefs, and let's see if we can spice it up on this one. But the Chargers, they went 5-12 last year, had a ton of injuries, fired the head coach. Brandon Staley just had a really tough time as a head coach, for being honest, but they bring in Harbaugh, fresh off of winning a national championship at Michigan, dodging the recruiting violation issues. But he's an NFL head coach now. He brings in OC from Baltimore, Greg Roman. They draft Joe Alt with their first-round pick. They bring in DJ Chark. They bring in Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. They draft Ladd McConkey, receiver out of Georgia. So they've made a lot of additions to this offense. a lot of new pieces coming in. There's going to be a lot of missing and matching. Justin Herbert, his wide receiver room it's pretty abysmal. It's Lad McConkey, who I just mentioned. It's the second year Quentin Johnston. It's Joshua Palmer. And, there's not really a whole lot for Justin Herbert to work with. And not to mention, he just hurt his foot. He's got a plantar fascia injury that he's working off right now. So his injury and health is in question to start the season. It's looking rough for them. Any immediate thoughts on the Chargers? You guys want me to get right into the questions?
Well, I mean, Chris, I just wanted to jump on you real quick because you're the wide receiver guy over here. You look at that wide receiver room, Justin Herbert, they just gave a shit ton of money to, and he's got nobody to throw the ball to. Is there anybody in that room where you're like, he's going to have to rely on this guy? I mean, I know they drafted a guy out of Georgia, but, I mean, is there anybody there you're looking at?
Dude, I actually disagree with a whole bunch of what you said, honestly. I really think they're going to be a lot better. I think Herbert's awesome. I know he's banged up. I think he's awesome. I think he's going to be awesome for a long time. And Harbaugh, I've seen him win in the NFL before. He's another guy. Having him there alone and having him in Harbaugh's ear and in Herbert's ear is going to be huge. I think McConkey's going to be nasty. I'm watching him cut guys up in training camp. He had Derwin James chasing him around like crazy. I think Joshua Palmer's serviceable for a 3. I think he'll get you 600, 700 yards like that. Obviously, they don't have Keenan Allen anymore, so that's a big L for them. And I don't know, man. I think Quentin Johnson bounces back. I think his problem was the drops. We've seen guys come back from the drops before. I mean, Jamar Chase had a case of them when he first got here. And as much as I hate to say it, because I know fans don't like it, it's not like sexy to draft a tackle early. I think Joe Alt's going to be sick. I think Joe Alt is going to be there for 10, 12 years. He's going to play every game. He's going to be mean. He's not going to give up sacks, which is going to be helpful. I guess a lot of it is a matter of how bad the foot really is for Herbert. But, dude, I think he possesses all the tools, man. And I think their defense is good. They got a couple of stars. They have a star on every level. Khalil Mack had a huge bounce back year last year. I thought he was probably washed, and he came back with a huge year. If Bosa stays healthy, and Bosa sort of mentioned earlier in the week, like, I'm fully committed to San Diego. I want to be here forever. I'm totally bought in. And they got Derwin on that back end. So they have a star at every level. I actually think they're going to be a lot better than you think they're going to be, I think.
And they might be, but, dude, that division's no joke.
I think they're going to dog walk the 2 teams behind them. I think they'll get 6 they'll get.
Because you got to think, we just hyped up the Raiders. And now
you think we hyped up the Raiders? That we think they're going to win 6 games?
No, I think we kind of hyped them up. Hyped them up more than I thought we would have.
No, I think, dude, I think the Chargers could win 9 games. I do. I believe in Herbert, man. I like him a lot. I think he's really good.
Is that the players on the field or the coach? What's giving you that 9 wins? The coach?
Well, I've seen Harbaugh win before when he was playing, and when he was out west with the Niners. They were in the mix every year, and they didn't have a quarterback as good as Herbert, right? Yeah. I would say Herbert when he's right. What, top 7, 8 quarterback in the league? No,
yeah,
am I overvaluing? You think I'm overvaluing Herbert, dude? It seems like you don't think he's as good as I think he is.
Well, I think it's tough after
he needs the weapons.
You think he what?
I think he needs better weapons.
Why? What do you think Lad's going to be? I think Lad's going to be so
I don't
good,
know anything about the guy, so I could be wrong. But, like, the Palmer and Johnson guy, like, he had him last year. It's not like these are new additions. I mean, he had them last year.
Well, when they drafted, Johnson's a physical freak. If he could just manage those drops and, like, sort of come into his own, that kid, when they drafted him out of TCU, was supposed to be he's supposed to, like, immediately come in and change things. So I think if he figures out the drops, obviously that's an if, but and then go back when we jump off of here and watch McConkey. He's cold, bro. I'm telling you, a lot of people had him going at the end of the first. I mean, he's a 4.3 every time. Like, he's not like a fluke. He's a 4.3. He plays 4.3. I'm telling you, he's shown really well in like preseason so far. They're saying like great things about him out there. I think he's going to be really good. He played really good in big games at Georgia. He was one of the the guys that they were game planning for too, and they just couldn't stop him. I think he's really good.
Yeah,
Was he the one-off guy from Bowers?
Him and Brock Bowers gave me nightmares watching them tear up that Auburn defense.
Very, very much. And I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that the Chargers in the second round of the draft this year traded up and took Ladd McConkey like high up at the start of the second round. So that just goes to show how much they believe in him and how much they have plans for him to be a good receiver for this team. But let's go right into some of these questions now. Justin Herbert, who we've been talking about, came into the league, absolutely set it on fire, was dealing with an injury last year. But there are 4 active quarterbacks with a 5,000-yard passing season under their belt. Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Stafford. Can you name me the 4th?
Of course, man. I hope so. You want me to go for it?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Discount double check, no? Does Aaron Rodgers have a 5? He doesn't have a 5,000-yard passing season?
He's been at like 4,800 so many times, and he's never gotten over it.
Wow. All right, so let's think about it then. Who could it be?
I think I got it.
Brian, you want to take a crack?
Is it our guy, Mr. 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions?
Jameis Winston?
Jameis Winston.
That's terrible.
Wow.
That's terrible.
He was like the number 2 fantasy quarterback that year.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Despite throwing 30 interceptions. Yeah, the 4 active quarterbacks with a 5,000-yard passing season under their belt, Jameis Winston, Matt Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert. So just a wild list. I had to share that.
Get Jameis the starting job in Cleveland.
I saw Jameis Winston coaching Deshaun Watson hard the other day. After he came off the field upset, Jameis Winston is coaching Deshaun Watson 5 years ago. Who the heck ever thought that would be a thing?
Yeah.
But
we have light.
There you go. Let there be light. But Chris, I don't know if you probably didn't see, but last year we were advocating for Jameis Winston to start over Derek Carr down in New Orleans. For whatever reason, I don't know why we got so fired up for Jameis Winston to get on the field. I mean, he's a ball of energy. Fun guy to watch, but we were big Jameis Winston.
Did you think he would outperform Carr, or you just wanted to see his antics?
Carr was so boring.
I wanted to see the antics, and Derek Carr is not good.
He was so boring to watch last year. We just needed something else.
What, are you going to sit here and try and explain to me that Derek Carr is this amazing quarterback and hasn't had the right pieces or coaching around him? Because you seem like I'm not a huge guy. I mean, I thought he would. I think he's okay for a team that's got pieces and needs I think a team that's going to ride their defense and has some decent offensive weapons, you could bring him in and win. But no, I don't think a young team with Olave as your I don't. Yeah, and Taysom Hill. I don't think that's with those weapons he's going to win very much. No, I thought the Jets were going to sign him. Honestly, they had him on campus and they wanted to sign him, but he chose to hold off. They wound up getting Rodgers then. So what? His best case is he's a system quarterback.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next question. Chargers took Quentin Johnson, number 21 overall last year in the draft, and he's somewhat become a meme in the football community. But obviously, I know Chris's answer here. But what do you guys have? What do you guys think is in store for him in year 2? You guys think he has a bounce back year, or it's more memery?
What's he bouncing back from? I mean, it's not much last year. Sure, I see a bounce back.
Is the NFL going to allow Stickum again?
No.
Then no.
Those gloves nowadays don't even need Stickum, man. I could do some bad things in those gloves today.
Yeah, tell that to him.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with him, man. I thought he was going to be really good. He was really good in college. And they've been showing he's apparently had a decent camp, too. I hope he does well. Seems like a good kid, too.
Yeah. TCU guy?
Yeah,
he's a TCU guy.
He had that 80-yard touchdown in the college football playoff semis to open up the game. He went
really, really early too. I think, don't quote me, but I think he went 13 or something.
He went 20, 21.
Oh, 21, and before other good receivers though, right? I thought
a pick before Zay Flowers.
Oh yeah, Zay Flowers is I like Zay Flowers.
Yeah, it was actually in the draft. It went 4 straight receivers, and I'm trying to remember them. One right after the other, but it was Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then somebody, and then Quentin Johnston. Oh, Jordan Addison to the Vikings, and then Quentin Johnston, and then Zay Flowers to the Ravens.
Jordan Addison got hurt today too, right?
I was going to say, he got carted off the field.
Yeah, man. They had a tough practice. I think they had 2 receivers get carted off, man. And then they lost J.J. McCarthy for the year.
Yeah.
And J.J. McCarthy, sir.
Crazy out there.
Well, here comes your other boy. There's ex-Jets all over the place. Sammy Darnold.
That's because that infrastructure
QB1.
there. If you've been on the Jets in the last 15 years, you can guarantee you've been mismanaged and friggin' had your career put through it. Everybody there is a castaway.
Dude, they got ex-Jets all over the league.
Dude, you guys got one too. Mekhi Becton. I thought Mekhi Becton was going to be a great Jet, and the Jets screwed him up too. You find a guy the last 5 years the Jets got, they screwed him up, bro. Elijah Moore is gone. I thought Elijah Moore was going to be a player. Everybody.
Why is that? Is that ownership? President,
because they
GM?
Bro, they switch coordinators like I changed my drawers. Like, that's why the quarterback's not doing good either. But I think that happens at a lot of places. Like, you can't be a good young quarterback. Sam Darnold had 3 different coordinators in 3 years. Zach Wilson had 3 different coordinators, or two in 2 years. He never had a chance. They kind of get in and they get thrust immediately in. Like last year, Zach Wilson, I thought was going to get that red shirt year. And I think that would have worked wonders for him, because he would have been able to take it down. Bro, the pressure in New York is just absurd too. And they bring these guys in. Bro, let me tell you, that's one thing. The learning an offense in college is so different. My playbook was this thick in Kansas City and Carolina. Every week things are going out. Every week things are going in. And if you're a quarterback, you need to know like 3 times what I need to know. So to get a young kid in there, get him acclimated to an offense, and then in 6 months fire his coach and get him acclimated to a new offense, it's so hard. It's so hard. So
a lot more, a lot faster, a lot quicker, a lot more knowledge you need to know. That's why I don't know how some of these guys are dumb as blocks. They come in and like this. It's just got to be pure talent.
Well, I mean, DJ Stroud had like a record low, like
terrible Wonderlic score. Yeah. But I have friends like that, bro. I'm telling you, I have friends where, like, you could show them a calculus book and they'll be like, but you show them a playbook, man, they'll be able to teach. Like, have you heard like a good football player like break down what they see pre-snap? Cooper Kupp has a great clip that went viral when they asked him about a touchdown he scored, and he's like, there was a nickel robber on the backside. When I saw this guy come, they brought pressure. I knew I was going to – and you're hearing things where, like, if you don't understand what he's saying, it sounds like a different language. And you're like, that he processed all that before the snap even happened. And it's just so absurd to really think about. So, but some of these guys speak that language, man. They're almost like savantish.
Yeah. Even like
that's what –
there were clips of the Giants offseason Hard Knocks where Dable would like tell a quarterback a play, and it'd be the formation and a bunch of stuff, and then the player would say it back to him. And people in the comments were like roasting him. They're like, this isn't that impressive. Like, he's just repeating what he says. It's like, no, he has to think of what the formation is, get that all processing in his brain. It's crazy.
Yeah. They were killing Jaden Daniels about that clip. They were like, look at him. He couldn't remember. Blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you remember. You recite it back now. Because they're calling 15 different things, and then you don't realize that they're calling checks, so that if this doesn't look good, we're checking into that. Then they're saying kills, which means we want to completely abort that play, and it's so much going on there. The beautiful thing about a receiver is I'm listening to like 2 parts of that. Once my 2 parts are good, I'm out. I'm off to the line. So, but quarterbacks, that's why I say it's the hardest position in any sport. The things you're responsible for knowing and the speed at which you have to process information while having the biggest freaks on the planet bear down on you. And it's just, that's why there's probably, and I say this all the time, there's probably 10 guys on this planet that do it very competently. Because if you look at the 32 starting quarterbacks in the league, the last 15 or 17, they're all interchangeable. Like, right? There's guys that are there every year. Breeze, Manning, Brady, Roethlisberger, Wilson, Mahomes, Rodgers. If you're not in that 10, you're interchangeable. Like, it could be anybody back there, you know? There's probably 10 guys who do it really, really well. That's why when you have one, you got to take advantage of it.
You got to pay him that bag.
Pay him that bread, man. And just hope it doesn't kill the rest of the roster like it did Seattle with Russ or something like that, you know?
New York, paying Daniel Jones all that money.
I like Daniel
And
Jones.
he's an interchangeable guy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so. I think Daniel Jones is good.
Oh,
I think he's gonna have a good year.
I
Oh
have faith
my
with him
God.
with Neighbors there, but I would have liked to keep.
We got like
Saquon.
30 seconds to get off course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Bro, the last time Daniel Jones was healthy for a year, he won a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 6'5", super athletic, big quarterback. He's got Brian Dable. Who did Brian Dable turn into a top quarterback in the league? Who's 6'5", super athletic with a great arm. Go ahead. Who was it?
I think Josh Allen's way better than Daniel Jones, not because of Brian Dable, because of just the.
Why? What was Josh Allen? What did Josh Allen do his first year in the league without a coach? He was average.
I have no idea, but I've
Wildly
seen what he's been able
inaccurate,
to do without Dable the last couple of years. Is that all
Right.
because of Dable?
Well, Dable put the roots down. Dable got him on the right direction, taught him how to think like a pro. Daniel Jones, bro, he won. What did they win? What did they win that year? They won 10 games, and then they won a playoff game, and he had a monster playoff.
They beat Kirk Cousins.
It was
Kirk
on the
Cousins
road.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
boy.
not. Yeah, now what happened in Philly the next week? Like, come on.
Yeah.
They played Philly. What did you think was going to happen against Philly? What's
I don't
supposed
know.
to happen?
It wasn't even.
That
close,
was exactly
though.
what was. I know, but they didn't Philly dog walk like 2 opponents in a row. They beat 2 teams by like 40 in those playoffs to start.
Yeah.
There's no harm.
I don't know.
No,
We'll see. Dude, as an Eagles fan, I'm not giving Daniel Jones hype after him being. The Giants have been awful the last 10 years.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is the
Okay.
reason I can't watch NFL Week 1
And
this
Daniel
year.
Jones has never, ever had a solid receiver. And now Malik Neighbors is ripping things apart over there. Just throw the ball in Malik Neighbors' direction. Watch.
He looks
He's
good.
got a
It's like
monster year.
it's like the Will Ferrell movie, Kicking and Screaming. Get the ball to the Italians. Get the
That's
ball
it,
to
bro.
Neighbors.
That's what it's going to be. That's what it's
That's
going
their
to be.
whole
Just get the
offense.
ball in his direction.
What it has to be. But like you said, Chris, earlier in the show, while we're talking about Cortland Sutton, what'd you
Right.
say? You're
I said the
kind of
rest of
now
it's
locked
gotta-
into that.
What? Like the rest of it's got to go right to get a
Right,
receiver.
to get
good
him the
numbers.
ball, like you were saying
Yeah.
about Sutton.
Bro, Andrew Thomas, all pro. They've short. What's the matter? You don't think Andrew Thomas is good?
I mean, he's
Oh,
fine.
you're bugging. He's the top
He's
5
very
tackle in the
good.
league.
Yeah, he's
Andrew
the Giants'
Thomas.
best player.
Dude, Andrew Thomas is good. And then they shored up that line. They brought that guy Jermaine Illuminor in, who had a million offers. He's going to play guard for him. They drafted a center in either the end of the first or beginning of the second last year. He's supposed to turn out okay.
Yeah.
Watch, bro. Don't sleep on him. They don't have Saquon, but I'm telling you, he's going to be fine.
So Chris is bought into the Giants. I know that makes Brian happy.
That's why New York's fraudulent, because they got 2 teams and you don't know who likes who up there.
They
It's
brought
Jets
in
and
John
Giants.
Runyon, too.
I just told you I'm a Jets fan.
Dude, you're glazing the Giants right now. Hardest glaze I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
That's
stop
the
it.
hardest one you ever seen, bro? That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm just telling you, the last time he was fully healthy, he had a good year.
We'll see. We'll see.
Nice.
But this is the
Great.
AFC West. Dude, Chris, I'd love to have you back for the NFC East show, dude. We're doing it in a couple weeks because clearly you got a lot to say.
I got a lot to say about everything, but yeah, that's fine. Let me know.
But now let's get into over-under for this LA team.
Yes, let's do it. Their over-under is set at 8.5 this year, plus money for the under. What do you guys think? 8.5 wins.
I can't get it. I can't get to 9 with this team. I don't care they got Harbaugh. I don't care they got this and that. And just to be a little different, right? We're not just going to keep taking the same thing. I'm gonna go under here.
Yeah, I got
Chris, you're on the over though. There's a
Yep.
lot of wins you got to get to that over. A lot of wins you got to find on that schedule.
You got an extra game now, 17. They got to finish 9 and what do they got?
9 and 8.
9 and 8. I think they're going to come in second in the division, and I think 9 and 8 is doable. And if I think they're going to come in second, I'm comfortable with it. And I'm telling you, I think their offense is going to be better than people
It's
think.
going to be between the Raiders and Chargers for that second spot, and I would lean Raiders based.
Let me ask
again,
you,
I know Harbaugh is a great coach.
So let me ask you this: if all things go right in both buildings, in Vegas and in San Diego, all things go right, who finishes higher? Like no major injuries, their good players play well. Herbert, you get everything out of. Minshew, you get everything out of.
Well,
who do you think if things go? Yeah.
Everything going right, does that include Devontae Adams staying a full year?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I would
what's
lean
the
Raiders.
ceiling on Minshew Adams?
I think there's more. I think it helps that Bowers is there too. I think it takes some pressure off of Adams. I really do.
I agree.
And dude, Adams is a freak. You got Pro Bowl players this guy's far and away the best wide receiver. Even though he doesn't get voted like it, there's guys who play. They're like, I don't care what anybody says. Adams is the best. I don't care.
So, but don't you think about it? Adams had a beast year last year, and what did it turn into? What was it?
Well, they had a winning record with Antonio Pierce at the end. I think it was the Josh McDaniels guy's a clown.
I think
Gardner, which is so weird too, right?
So
I think
weird.
Gardner Minshew makes the difference here. I think I'm going to go under on the Chargers. I think the Raiders are going to finish second in this division. I think Gardner Minshew, I think he's going to have a very successful year. He's going to go 9-8 or maybe 10-7, but I think the Raiders might be a playoff team this year.
I might be changing my pick after what Chris said about everything going right. If Quentin Johnson can catch the ball, if Justin Herbert stays healthy and can throw for 5,000 again, Harbaugh is going to have a defense and running game.
Alt is as sure a thing, I think, as a first-round pick as you're going to find in this draft.
Yeah.
I think Alt's going to keep Herbert on his feet. I do.
Yeah.
So there you have it. I'm still sticking to the under. I like the Raiders, but hopefully I'm wrong, and Harbaugh can shun the haters after that messy departure for Michigan.
Yeah, if he ever goes back to college, the team has to prove to a committee why he shouldn't be suspended.
Wild.
No, Michigan's dealing with that now. We don't have to worry about that. Let's get into the Chiefs.
Yeah, let's do it, dude. And I got hold up, let me get my paperwork here. I got so fired up with the other guys here. But obviously jumping to the Chiefs, they're going for a three-peat. Has a team ever done it in NFL history? I don't think so. But you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first shot. Maybe not first shot, but if they do it, they'll be the first in history. Is there a team that ever three-peat? The first thing that comes to mind is maybe the Patriots. But I don't even think they did it.
No, the Patriots did. I think the Cowboys won 3 in the early 90s.
Did.
I just don't know if they made 3 in a row.
I think they did.
Well, we know the Bills went to 4 in a row with Jim Kelly, lost all 4.
They sure did.
Yeah, the Patriots might have been 4 and 5 years.
Now, the Cowboys won in 93, 94, 96, so they didn't do it either. So, no, I don't think anyone's ever done it then.
Well, if there's a guy to do it, is it going to be Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs and Big Red down there in Kansas City?
And we also have the ultimate secret weapon that the NFL wants to win so bad that we got Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So as
100%.
Much as that seems like it's nothing, you think the NFL wants to attach Taylor Swift to a leader
Chris,
and let her get out?
If you see previous shows, these two right here on the show know I am a huge Roger Goodell holds the script and controls and manipulates how shit works out. I am fully on board with Taylor Swift having a positive role in the Chiefs winning games other than a negative effect. It's the whole thing.
Well, see, I don't think – but the thing is, though, they had 6 championship games in a row, conference championship games in a row. People were saying that last year when we were on our show here. Taylor Swift is everything. She's the reason. I'm like, well, he did go to –
not the reason, but it helps.
He did go to 5 AFC championship games before Taylor Swift was even a thing. So it's like you can't pretend. And then if you look at the Super Bowls, I saw it the other day. Everyone says Chiefs get all the love. Chiefs get all the love. The Chiefs have significantly more penalties in the Super Bowls than the teams that they played against in the Super Bowls. So it's not but I mean, I just think they have the best players, to be real, and coach.
Well, Mahomes for sure, but. I mean, Chris, you tweeted out, we watched the NFL top 100. We saw Mahomes get dogged on that list, not only not being number 1, but being number 4. If you saw, I had a clip out.
He wasn't even the first quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They put a quarterback in front of him.
It was crazy. Crazy list. The tweet you said.
I say a lot of crazy stuff on Twitter. I don't know what I said.
Oh, well, the tweet.
There's nothing that could be said.
You were just saying the constant disrespect stuns you. Kermit the puppet with the Raiders.
What were they thinking, these idiots?
There's not one GM in the league today who, draft any other player other than Pat. Remember the slights come February. You all did this. And I was just going to say, as a former player, players vote on these lists. So where the hell are the players? Is there something just against Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah,
I mean, the
exactly
players play against these guys.
Bro, but haters hate, but players hate. You know the drill. Like
Right.
you
It's
get
outrageous.
tired of getting your ass beat by the same guy every year, so you take a personal disliking to it, right? And the Chiefs are super easy to hate. If I wasn't a Chiefs fan, it's like being a Yankee fan. Like
Right.
they're super easy to hate. No, if you're not in the club, everybody hates you. So of course they're not going to give him that. I love it, bro, because Mahomes is on like that short list of competitors, like a Tiger or a Jordan, who you just give them anything because when you're that level. Pat needs something now. What hasn't he done? Just keep giving him that material to
Right.
focus him and motivate him every week. He literally said with like this real stoic murderer face, like that will all be handled when the season comes around. Like real calm and serene and docile. Handled. He's like, that'll all be handled. And I was just like, bro, beautiful. That's everything I needed to hear.
And he doesn't have this outlandish overreaction either when they talk about it. You can't tell that it rattles him. You just said it, like smooth, calm, collected. Everything on the field will work itself out.
And bro, they've done it in every different way. I actually think the Chiefs season is going to be a blast this year because we watched in the beginning of his career where he just aired it to Tyreek over the top. Then they went to a team that was like predominantly defensive, right? The last couple of years since they lost Tyreek, it was basically and now they come back and grab the fastest player in combine history, and I actually think they're going to start to sling it, and their defense is loaded. So, yeah they're going to be nasty this year. And
that's a phenomenal transition into kind of my other question here is because I love the addition of Hollywood Brown. I think he's going to be sick on that team. I know he's battling a little bit of an injury, might miss week 1, might miss week 2, but Andy Reid loves the crossing routes, loves getting guys running full speed across the middle, get him into open space. You said a guy runs, a 4.2, 4.3, 40, whatever he runs.
Worthy, yeah.
Are you talking about Worthy or Hollywood Brown?
No, I'm talking Xavier Worthy.
Oh, dude,
they're both stupid fast.
But I know he's super fast, but I'm talking about Hollywood Brown. I think he's going to be lights out. A little bit injured right now. But
look who we're even sleeping on. They have another guy who's like a 4.2 is McCole Hardman. He's another 4.2. Bro, they're probably the fastest team in the league right now. McCole Hardman's 4.2, Worthy's 4.2, Hollywood's probably 4.3 flat. They've got burners
lights
everywhere.
Out speed. Lights out speed. But I think regardless, right? Hollywood Brown's the most experienced, the most proven, even though maybe it's not a lot proven, the most proven.
Well, wide out, yes, but pass catcher, no, because you still, on top of all those guys, you still have arguably the best tight end in the world in history.
I'm just talking about
he's
the wide
there
receiver
too.
room. I'm just talking about those three guys.
Well, yeah, obviously out of those three, he probably is. He had a couple of good years early in his career. Then
I was just going to say, do we see Hollywood Brown going over 1,000 yards this year with the loaded receiver room and Travis Kelce still looming in the background? I think those crossing routes are going to be dirty.
I think there's going to be too many footballs spread around for him to get 1,000 yards. I think they're going to get Pacheco the ball quite a bit still. Pacheco's nasty. I think Kelce goes for 1,000 like he always does. I think their backup tight ends even go for a couple of hundred each. Gray. And I think they're going to try to make it a point to get Worthy involved quite a bit early. And he's had an awesome camp, bro. Every day he's getting behind defenders. So, yeah,
so
I don't know.
Does Worthy emerge as the guy over Hollywood Brown, and maybe we don't even see Hollywood Brown there after this year?
No. I think Hollywood Brown you'll get something out of. I just think he's probably going to be in that. You remember when McCole, before he went to the Jets, got like 500 or 600? Yeah. I think he could be that guy. He'll be better than.
I was going to say, you don't see very high on Hollywood Brown at all.
I mean, he's never healthy, for one. You got to be on the field, and he's already banged up going into the year. But I think every receiver gets better in that system. So I think he'll have a good year. I just think there's so many weapons, bro. Trav's going to get his. Pacheco's going to get his. I think Worthy, they're going to fight to get him the football. You got guys like Sky Moore trying to stay in the league, so he's going to be trying to do whatever he can do. He had a touchdown. Honestly, you forget about him. They're using him more as like a running back, but Kadarius Toney, they're going to try to get the football in his hands because he's electric with the football once he has it. So they've been using him out of the backfield quite a bit. So I just think there's
another guy.
Of course.
Yeah, another guy we haven't even talked about. How fast is the judicial system going to work in Kansas City? Is Rashee Rice going to be?
Oh, Rashee Rice is another one.
Rashee Rice,
It looks like he's not. They're saying he looks like he's not going to get suspended, which is crazy. But
so this happened with Alvin Kamara a couple years ago, and it's happened plenty of times over like the past decade that I can remember, where if a player gets in some legal trouble and there's not a decision made by honestly at this point, before preseason starts is usually when it is. They usually just kick it off until like the next season. You know what I mean? They usually just delay until after this football season. So at this point, I would have to think since nothing's happened yet, we're not going to see anything on Rashee Rice until after the 2024 season.
Yeah, that could be, and that'll be a huge help for the Chiefs. That's another. I can't believe we forgot about him. That dude had such a monster year for a rookie too, and then a great playoffs too. Great playoffs
coming into year two. So.
Mm-hmm.
But, Chris, I know you're huge on Patty Mahomes. Honestly, I don't hate the guy. Some of the off-the-field stuff, whatever that he gets into, not a huge fan. But
what does he get into off the field that you hate?
Just like politically,
it's his family.
Politically, I don't like his wife. I don't like his brother. All that stuff.
But like actual politics, or
dude, he's like a sellout. He's going all and on about the COVID boosters, like the whole thing.
Do you ever hear?
No, him or
that's
Kelsey?
Like that's Kelsey for sure. Like I'm not a big Kelsey.
That's Mr.
Pfizer. Kelsey had the Pfizer commercial.
Check out Mahomes' mom's Twitter if you need to know what Mahomes' politics is like.
Why are they nuts?
What nuts? Not. It depends what you believe, but she's firmly on one side, and you'll know in like 2 seconds. And generally, it kind of trickles down. Yeah. Generally, it trickles down.
All right, well, maybe not politics, but come on, you got to agree. The brother's annoying, and the wife is.
But dude, let me ask you this question. But what I'm saying to you though is like, as annoying as those two might be, what has he ever done? He don't never co-sign for anything they do. They're associated with them, though. They're associated with them, and I don't know. I don't. That's cool. I don't mean like you got brothers, bro. If they did something stupid, should you be judged on? Like, I don't know. I think that's hard. I think
probably
that's
guilty by association. But either way, we'll get into Mahomes. I think the script is the script, so Goodell's going to look out for his prodigy Mahomes all year. Over under 6.5 interceptions that are negated by pass interference penalties. I think that's over.
I hate this stupid argument.
This is so ridiculous. How many interceptions get negated by a pass the pass interference or whatever? I think that's way over. I think he's going to throw 8 picks that get negated. The refs come in and they save their prodigy.
So that means you think if they weren't negated that he's on pace to throw like 15 picks, because assume he's going to throw like 6 anyway, and you think he's going to get 8 or 12,
I think 12 to 14 is a fair number.
Because why? When has he ever thrown that many picks?
Dude, he had a down year last year. Wasn't he up there last year?
Oh, I love when guys say that. Let me show you what Mahomes' down year is. Mahomes had a down year last year.
He had
I had him in fantasy, and I was
14 picks. 14 picks last year.
He threw for 4,100 yards last year. He had a 92 rating, and he threw 2-to-1 interceptions to touchdowns to interceptions.
And I think one of those games was like 500 yards, like 6 TDs.
All right, Matt, what's your question here?
My question is what's the over under on 6.5 interceptions negated by a pass interference call? And I think it's over. I think 7 interceptions this year get negated by pass interference.
Bro, that is such a hater answer. That is such a hater answer, bro. No, absolutely. He does not get 6 interceptions come back on pass interference. 0 chance.
Definitely
not. Matt, you just made probably the longest clip in the history of this podcast, because I'm going to have to clip this and go through every interception he throws in the season to get the count.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so Chris, we probably got your number on this. I think just because the division's a little weaker, they'll get there. Curious to see where Jack and Brian are on it. But Chiefs over-under sitting at 11.5. Are they a 12-win team? Probably a 12-win team. Chris, I'll let you jump it off. Do they win 12 games, or are they under at 11 or below?
No,
what do you got?
They definitely win 12. But I want to know, based on what you just said, wait, do you think they didn't get better from last year? I think they're a way better team than they were last year.
They definitely got better from last year.
Because you said I think they're going to win because the division's down. I think they're better in general than they were last year.
They definitely are, but you got to look at their schedule too. Their schedules.
Tough.
I mean, they open up with the Ravens.
Well, you remember last year too? They didn't have Chris Jones for the first game either because he had a contract thing. They're gonna have him the full year. They got Nick Bolton back this year. He was hurt last year. McDuffie's going to be a year better. He's a first team All Pro.
For sure.
For sure. So I think they'll be better this year.
No L'Jarius Sneed, who's a dog, probably the best corner in football, or at least top 3.
Well, Sauce Gardner would say no, but okay.
Sauce Gardner, Surtain, L'Jarius Sneed. I stopped it and said top 3.
Okay, that's fine.
Sauce Gardner is definitely good, but so over under 11.5. You got the over. I'm agreeing. I'm saying the over.
Yeah, give me the over.
Definitely the over.
Yeah, I'll take the over on that for sure.
I'm going under. I think
why? Let's see why. And you said I got the hater answers, Chris. I think the hater. Why are they going under?
We saw a little bit of this last year. I think at this point in Andy Reid's career and Patrick Mahomes' career, they can kind of work on things and coast through those first couple months of the season, and then they turn it on once he doesn't lose in November, basically never loses in December. So I think they have the ability, not that they're not trying to win games, but they have that ability to kind of work the kinks out early where they know they don't have to win early.
I think, though, from listening to them, I think they like very much the route that they've taken every year besides last year. I don't think they want to have to deal with going somewhere else and winning a playoff game this year like they did last year. It was the first year they didn't have home field throughout, right? So they had to go on the road and win a playoff game last year. I think if they can avoid that, they're going to try. So I think they dick around a little bit less in the regular season than they've been. And I think they figure it out.
That's fair.
And I got to be honest, they were better on the road last year anyway. In the regular season, they were only 4-4 at home.
And they have the hard games they have at home, though, I think. I think they got Ravens week 1 in KC, where they've been starting on the road the 2 years prior. I didn't understand why, but
last year was they started out home against the Lions, but the Lions beat them.
They did. They lost the first one. That one was at in Arrowhead.
Yeah, that was in KC.
That was away. Yeah, that was a tough one.
Here's a hypothetical for you. The quarterback in Cincinnati is back. So do they even want to be home in a playoff game and have to play in Burrowhead?
Oh, God, stop
it. Hater. Brian's got the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. He's got Burrow throwing 50 touchdowns.
That's not like hater stuff. The timeline of events was you said, I hate Mahomes. I hate his offseason stuff. I hate his family. I think he's going to throw a million picks. And I'm just like, come on, bro.
I definitely did. It definitely might have sounded like it lined up like that. And I'm not a Mahomes hater. I just thought it'd be a fun question. But I definitely do think the NFL will come. And maybe he doesn't hit that 6.5 number. That's a big number. But I definitely think there'll be a couple interceptions negated. Or if you want to really get down to it, he'll lead the league in interceptions negated by pass interferences. I guarantee you that.
Does he always lead the league in interceptions negated?
I don't even know that we can pull statistics on that, but
I wouldn't into that.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's up there.
Because I don't feel like he throws a ton of interceptions to start with to get negated. He didn't.
He had 12 to 14. What do you have? 14 last year?
14 last year.
I mean, is 14 a lot? That's a lot. Usually these MVP crazy guys have under 10.
Yeah, it was a million times, though.
It was a career high for him, but that's not saying much. I mean,
career
guys
high.
Also, 3 of 4 of those were off of Kadarius Toney's hands.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question, because I've been on record saying this probably 2 or 3 times. Do you think I think there should be a stat for when a ball hits a wideout in the chest or right in his hands and it gets picked? I don't think that should fall on the quarterback. That shouldn't fall in the quarterback's numbers. I think that should be a wide receiver stat, however you want to phrase it. But even as a wideout, I hate when I see that. I saw that. When did I see that recently? Where I was like, oh, okay, it was Mahomes to Toney last year. Very early in the year, it was Brian Branch who brought back a touchdown in the first game. I'm like, bro, you couldn't hand that ball to Toney better than he did, and that's a pick 6 on Mahomes. I think that has to be. They got to do something to amend that. Eli Manning used to get a ton of interceptions for that. He would throw balls into guys' chests, they'd bang off into the sky, and Eli Manning would get 5 a year extra because of that. So
I agree, but how do you gauge that, right? Then it gets into too much of a gray area of on the close calls, it's like, oh, maybe it was on the quarterback or maybe it was on the wide receiver. Like, I don't know. I feel like
You
there's
do it
too
like
much
basketball.
of a gray area there.
Like basketball, how they do turnovers, if the pass, they just have to judge. It's the same
Yeah,
thing.
you would have to judge it case by case because the devil's advocate that I'm thinking of here is that used to happen to Cam Newton a ton too. But he used to throw 90-mile-an-hour fastballs. That guy's 10 feet away from him, and
Guys
it's like,
coming out of the backfield.
maybe you should have taken something off of that and not thrown a dart at him. It's like hitting some guy in the back of the helmet and like knocking him over. That's the kind of fastballs he used to throw. So, you're doing that. It's probably on you, not the receiver. But I'm with you, Chris. I'm with you. When you see that, and then especially we play fantasy football. Like I got Patrick Mahomes, and now I got -4 because some dude can't catch a ball that hit him right in the chest. Like that's some BS.
Yeah, I agree, and that's from a guy who played the position. I'm always like, it infuriates me that I just think about I put myself in the situation. Like, bro, my paycheck is predicated upon how many picks I don't throw, and if I get 3 or 4 more a year because I hit a wideout right here as he's moving and it clangs off his hands, bro, I just see no way how that's fair to the quarterback. So I'm cool. I'll take that as a receiver. My job is to catch the football, bro. If the balls are clanking off my shoulder pads, then put that on me. That's on me.
Yeah. So you think that should be a rule implemented or statistic implemented?
Yeah, call it like make it a receiver, it's almost like a fumble.
Yeah.
Call it a fumble. Don't call it a fumble, but call it like a INTC, interceptions caused, or something like that. Whatever. I don't care what you want to call it, but make it a negative stat for a receiver or a pass catcher, rather than a negative stat for a quarterback who delivers a perfect ball to a skill player. That sucks.
I don't know if the fans can write in, but I guess, maybe a team would have to write into the rules committee, right? Because they tried to write in and get the tush push banned last year. So
yeah, that's crazy too.
Why, you don't like that play?
Well, no. I mean, I don't like it, but I mean, your guys are tougher than everybody else's, and they get lower. Why can I take that? How do I take that off the field?
Right.
You
think it should stay though, whether you like it or hate it. You think that banning
they're not doing anything.
Soft?
They're not doing anything illegal. They're just getting lower and they push harder. And your quarterback squats 1,000 pounds. Like, no, they shouldn't take that off the field. Why? Stop it.
You're speaking to the choir, at least for me. Jack and Brian think it should be banned.
Why?
No, you're putting words in our mouths now.
Shut up. maybe for Jack, but Brian definitely has been on the ban train.
No, I have not.
What, let me ask you, what would you ban it for? Like, they're leaving at the same time the ball is snapped.
Yeah,
they're
you can't.
What would you ban
it in my mouth?
It's too dominant.
I've never that has never come out of my mouth.
Yeah, never.
Maybe not for Jack. I could have sworn Brian was an anti-ban guy.
I hate it, but you can't ban it.
That's the thing. It sucks. But let's see. Do you think how much? I bet you that drops off a ton if Kelsey doesn't play this year.
Maybe we'll see. They're still doing it. They ran
You think Kelsey's done?
What do you mean?
You think he's never going to play football again, Jason Kelsey?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean,
bro, they say he's at the facility every single day.
I don't doubt it.
Dude, he's like 36. Like,
he's a first-team All-Pro. It's a matter of he's not hurt. He never misses games. I don't know, bro. I think I think guys hate training camp so much. I'm telling you, and it's going to be a hot take. Listen to Tom Brady talk. I bet you Tom Brady. I wouldn't even rule out Tom Brady playing football again. I'm telling you. Listen to what he said yesterday.
I did see that interview, yeah.
What did he say yesterday?
49ers start off 12-2. Brock Purdy gets smoked. I wouldn't put it past Tom Brady to come back and I'm telling you, he's 45 years old. Last time he played,
best shape of his life still.
His body's 2 years off of being hit. Last thing to go is the arm. He was never a mobile quarterback anyway. I'm telling you, I think you can play a lot longer these days too. He's smart enough with that clock in his head to throw the ball in the seats if he's got nobody there. When's the last time you remember seeing Tom Brady get lit? He doesn't get crushed a lot, So, but that's just the Jason Kelsey thing. I don't know why I don't feel like he's done. I could be wrong.
Week 15 comes around. It's not too cold yet. The Eagles went away from a bye.
Yeah, I think, did he just get offered like a a media job though, Kelsey?
Yeah, he's starting to get the endorsements because him and his wife's like a kind of figure lady too. She's in the public eye a little bit.
Yeah, she is.
So, they got some endorsement sponsorship stuff going on where he doesn't have to take a beating on the field and they're still getting chunks of change.
It's true. That's definitely a key. I didn't think about that. That's right.
Well, should we pick a division winner? I mean, I think I know
Let's
where
pick a
we're all
division winner.
going.
I think it's an easy one since they're the only ones who are favored in the betting odds, I think, and heavily favored. But, I mean, it's essentially – I think it'd be more fun if we picked who's going to finish second because I think across the board we all got the Chiefs winning this division.
All right.
Yeah.
With these, is there maybe a last 2 weeks ago in the season dogfight with a sneaky team? Chris, you're high on Harbaugh.
Not that high.
Not that
high. No, not that high.
That's funny.
Like I said, I think San Diego finishes around 9, and I think Kansas City wins double digits by. I think they're in double digits by week 14. So,
I'm not trying to call you out for verbiage, but like 5 times you called them the San Diego Chargers. Do you believe they're still in San Diego?
No, I actually forgot completely. But they've been the San Diego Chargers for every year of my life until like the last 2 or 3.
I know. I didn't want to be like and correct it, but you kept saying it, so I'm like, maybe
I probably still
in San Diego.
I probably still say the Oakland Raiders too.
Yeah. I asked them a question a few weeks ago about Hunter Henry, and I'm like, does he score more touchdowns, or do analysts refer to his old team as the San Diego Chargers more? And they made fun of me, saying no one's going to do that ever. Here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah,
I mean, dude.
That.
Well, for you, Chris, you grew up. We only saw the San Diego Chargers for a handful of years. I mean, you grew up like that. You were in your prime with LT.
Yep.
I mean, Andrew Brees was out there.
Sean Merriman, LaDainian Thomas, Antonio Gates. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when I was watching like ball when I was young. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I could see where you'd be like, not calling them LA, and it's right there.
How long have they been gone, by the way?
Like 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
And I just finished watching Ballers too, and they're not in LA. And they're not in LA yet either. They're in San Diego.
San Diego. So. You like that show with The Rock? I know you're a huge Rock guy.
No, I used to be a huge Rock guy. I used to be a really big Rock guy. Actually, my company's doing something with The Rock in like the next couple of weeks. I think I'm gonna go down there with them and do it. So should be cool.
Yeah, you gonna tell him how you really feel?
I don't know, bro. He's pretty big. We'll see.
He is a big guy.
We'll see how froggy I'm feeling down there. I doubt it. I probably won't. But.
Nah, yeah, it'd probably be all cool, all love. But
he seems like he's kind of realized the error of his ways. Like I just think if we're gonna just stray for 2 seconds, I just think he has so much influence. Like he decided to use his influence for something where I was like, come on, bro, you actually make a difference to some people who don't know how to think for themselves. So just kind of sit it out. Just sit it out.
But no,
let everyone else decide.
We're at the end of the show, so we can just chop it up, talk BS for a second here. If you want to, if there are any NFL headlines that caught your eyes, I know we were jumping off some different topics mid-show there, but if there's anything out there you want to say, Brian, Jack, you guys want to ask Chris something, let's just chop it up for a couple minutes, then we can hop off here.
All right. Well, you see Matthew Judon? Matthew Judon.
No, what happened to him?
They just traded him, the Patriots.
They traded him away?
Yeah. They
so
couldn't
really
couldn't work out a contract with him, and they traded him to Atlanta. So they just grabbed Judon.
Well, that's a good question. 2 hours ago. Got to trade that, but like, are you high on what's your thoughts on the whole Kirk Cousins backup quarterback Michael Penix? I mean, you just gave the guy $100 million.
It was weird. Well, it was super, super weird. Super weird. I actually thought Penix was going to go to the Raiders at 8. I thought that's where he was going to go, to be honest.
It made so much sense.
I actually got a relationship with Kirk, so I probably like him more than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Bro, the guy's 5,000 yards a year no matter what. Like, I would have loved to see, too, how he did in the playoffs, but I feel like – did he get hurt? Or he tore his Achilles, right?
Yeah, Cousins was out last year.
I thought last year it was gonna be the year he did well, because he wound up starting to win some primetime games where after for so long they were like, he can't win a game in primetime, and I think he wound up winning a couple of Monday night games or a Thursday game and a Monday game. I was like, all right, maybe he's figured it out now, and then he wound up getting hurt, so that sucked. But I actually think he's better than I think a lot of people do. I think who I think is going to have a really good bounce back year is Kyle Pitts because he's got Kirk. Kyle Pitts went for what did he go for? I don't know. What did he go for? Like 1,200 as a rookie, and that was the last time he had a competent quarterback, and that was Matt Ryan. And then he went like, who the hell? Who's been Atlanta's quarterback?
Desmond Ritter.
It was Mariota. Wasn't it Mariota?
Yeah, Heineke was there
Oh,
too.
Mariota was there. Yeah.
So
during,
it's like
the quarterback.
So Drake. So Kyle Pitts went for over 1,000 and double-digit touchdowns to a down year, and now he's got Kirk. I actually think he's going to have a lot better year. I think Drake London's pretty good, so I actually think that they'll do okay out there. I'm
defense is loaded. Just got Judon, Jesse Bates out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bates is nasty, and I actually even if something happens to Kirk, bro, I think Penix is going to be cold. I love Penix. I think he's really, really good. Yeah.
Well, if you don't know, when we were watching college football last year, we picked them as our future to win it all in week 5 of the college football.
Yeah.
So we were huge on Washington, that whole team, that whole run, Penix, the whole thing. Didn't work out, but
I got to, you know what it was? You never get to see a team from on the East Coast. You don't get to see a team from out West like that unless it's like Reggie Bush at SC, but they played on TV like 6 times. So I was able to actually watch them. I'm like, this dude never has a bad game. He never had a bad game. And he made throws. And I was like, damn. Why? He had a real bad game. When did he have a real bad game? You can talk about the bowl game?
The last one. Yeah.
You thought that was like a really bad game though?
The national championship?
Yeah, you're talking about a national championship game too, Ryan.
And it's a national championship game.
One.
And for whatever reason, bro, his wideouts got no separation in that game. And they were usually really, really good. But they got no separation in that game. I was watching it, and that's pretty much what I watched. I'm like, man, they can't get free. The wideouts.
Who's the guy, Roma Duze, who went 7th overall
Chicago.
to the Bears? Yeah.
Bro, they're going to be best scenario a rookie quarterback has ever come into.
I mean, it's
Keenan Allen, bro. Yeah. Bro, Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore. DJ Moore's like criminally underrated because nobody ever watches him play because he was on a terrible Carolina team and then the terrible Bears. But DJ Moore's – if you have a good quarterback, DJ Moore's like a $1,400 a year guy. He's real good. He's real good.
From Philly too, by the way.
And they got Cole Kmet, who's pretty good, right?
Yeah, he's
solid.
Either.
He's decent tight end.
So. With all those other guys around him, he'll be solid.
Yeah. Actually, would you have picked Rome over Neighbors? You'd have picked Neighbors first?
I would have taken Neighbors, yeah.
Okay.
Would you have said that now that we know how it played out? I feel like a lot of people were high on Aduze.
I heard Rome. I heard by the end, like coming to the trip, I heard Rome people saying we're going to take him over Marvin Harrison, and I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I heard people saying that about Neighbors. They would take Neighbors over Harrison. I don't know about Rome.
Now it's easy to say, Neighbors now after all the crazy shit out of training camp and doing all the catching, looking like a dog. It's easy to say, I'll take Neighbors all day.
Do you know what's crazy about Neighbors? What's crazy about Neighbors is all the stuff you're seeing him do in training camp isn't even like his biggest strength. His biggest strength is like catching a ball, and after the catch, he's just impossible to tackle. And all the highlights is just him going up and getting everything. So that's pretty sick.
Yeah. Is every piece of the puzzle going to work out to get him the football, though?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, like I said, bro, I think they're gonna force him the ball.
Yeah.
Like they're just gonna force him the football because who else?
So where's he gonna like thrive? Comeback route, quick slant, over
Neighbors,
deep ball. Yeah.
He's probably got it all in his bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's done everything. They look like they're driving like Daniel Jones' knock is, but he doesn't take shots down the field. So I think they've made a point, they said, to try to get him to throw the ball down the field in training camp. So he's been doing it a lot more, and he's been successful. So you know the drill, bro. When you have a guy, he's never had that guy. His number one the last couple of years has been Darius Slayton. So it's like
Where you go?
He has a guy, Darius Slayton. I thought he went to West Virginia.
Auburn,
yeah.
He didn't go to West Virginia, Darius Slayton?
He may have transferred to Auburn.
He was Auburn through and through.
He definitely was at Auburn, made some big plays down the stretch.
I have no idea, but Chris, these guys are like Auburn truthers over here. So
you know what? Steve Slayton went to West Virginia. But yeah, so this is the first time he's been able to drop back in camp and throw the ball down the field and trust I got a guy down there who's going to get it. So I wouldn't be shocked if they take a couple more shots this year.
I guess last thing on this guy though, Malik Neighbors pro comp, Devontae Adams. I mean, who is it?
Randy
I don't know
Moss.
if he's like a route specialist. Like Devontae Adams carves guys up with routes, bro. His routes are sick.
So who is it? That's what I'm asking. Who's it? What's a good pro comp to him?
What is Neighbors pro comp?
AB.
Randy Moss.
No.
AB's really small. How big is Neighbors? What's he like? Is he 6'2"?
Yeah, Neighbors is kind of big, I feel like.
Might be 6'4".
Is he
Yeah,
really?
AB was what, like 5'10"?
Yeah.
I didn't know Neighbors was
Like huge.
Is Neighbors like DK Metcalfish or no? You see him being
Oh,
like
he's only
DK
Neighbors is
Metcalfish?
only 6 feet.
He's 6 feet.
Yeah. Come on now.
I thought he was like 6'4".
He just plays like he's bigger.
Brian
Yeah.
Thomas
He goes up.
is the 6'4" receiver from LSU. That's
And
how
then
much
that kid,
I know.
the Jets took Malachi Corley's pretty big too. The kid from where's he from?
Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky, yeah. He's like 215 or 217 or something.
I think he
He's
had
supposed to be having a real good camp too.
like 150 yards against Ohio State when they played.
Yeah, I know. His yards after catch is nuts too. He runs like angry. You see him like putting his head down trying to hurt people, which is cool. So
Yeah, it's definitely dope. But yeah, I mean, shit, dude. I ain't got much more for you, Chris. I definitely appreciate you coming on, hopping on.
Appreciate
definitely,
it.
if you want to hop on for any other preview, especially the NFC East, we'd love to get you on. That would be sick. But I know we've been talking for a while here, man. Appreciate you taking extra time out of your busy schedule to chop it up with us, man.
No, pleasure. You know that, bro. All right, just let me know. Let me know if you got something else. It's really a matter of whether I have stuff, going on or not.
Yeah, if the timing lines up, dude, more than welcome to get back on. It was awesome.
All right, cool. All right, I appreciate it, fellas.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Maddie, hit me whenever.
Chris.
Just text me or whatever, right? All right, I'll see you later.
I got you, brother. Peace.
All right, bye.
And once again, huge thanks to Chris hopping on, talking some football, giving us the insight on the AFC West. Some good Chiefs talk in there. But now, I don't know if you guys saw, we have the Views from Section 400 Fantasy Football League. Just weeks away from the draft, obviously just weeks away from the start of the NFL season. We obviously got to know what the draft order is. So you can see we looped Will in, who is our lead editor and commissioner. Not sure how he got the commissioner title, but Brian and Will colluded behind closed doors. Will is now the commissioner of the league. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it definitely will be fun. The draft lottery is tonight. There's obviously the 5 guys on the crew who are in the draft, and then there's, what would that leave? 7 spots that were up for grabs. We filled all 7, and now we will pick 1 through 12 for what the draft order was be. I think we settled it. We're going to start at 12, then go to 11, then 10, all the way until we get to who will have the first overall pick. Will, acting as Adam Silver, Roger Goodell, whatever you want to call him, as the commissioner of the Views from Section 400 Fantasy League, the first ever draft lottery. Who is picking number 12?
All right. So got out of a little hat. I thought I had a fishbowl, but the hat will do, I guess. So pick number 12.
I swear to God, if it's I'm going to read.
Not looking, as you can see. I'll literally just even do this so no one thinks I'm cheating.
Well,
You're fine.
I think you're
You're
good.
good.
Hey, you never know. First pick is Jackson.
Well, last pick.
Or last
so number
pick,
12.
sorry.
We're going 12
Pick
to
12.
1.
Pick 12 will be a Jackson at pick number
Jackson
12.
with the 12.
Yeah,
And
why are
I'll
you
pick
yelling at me?
number-
I'm not commissioner of this league.
I don't know. You're just usually the guy who gets all the heat.
Yes, and then I'm the one that that should be the commissioner in the old leagues. Pick number 11. Ooh, it's one of you guys,
Uh-oh.
Fuck.
Uh-oh.
and it's gonna be Jack.
Let's go.
I know it's backwards. Sorry about that.
Huge.
I'm cool with that.
The Jays are off the board just like that. Jackson and Jack are gone, and I didn't rig that. I promise you.
Come on. Get me into the
Give
top
myself
10
Saquon
again,
Barkley.
Will.
Pick number
Get me into the
10.
top 10.
Pick number 10 is gonna be Austin.
Let's go,
Congrats,
Lees. Let's see
Austin.
what you got this year, boss.
All right. There's like fucking paper everywhere. God damn it. Pick number 9. Fuck off, Brian.
This is great.
Fuck you.
podcasting.
It's gonna be you then.
Damn it.
That's Corn.
This
Brian
is
is
only-
pick-
Wow.
The
Brian
only thing
is
I
pick
wanted
number
was to
9.
be nowhere near Brian. And that's probably my only goal of this whole ordering. I don't give a shit if you pick me 1 through 12. I don't want to be anywhere near Brian. We think too
Come
similarly.
on, Will.
yeah.
Oh, and pick number 8
That's
is
fucking
Matt.
scripted, dude. That's totally scripted. That's bullshit.
12, 11,
If
10, 9, 8.
if Ralphie Miller ends up getting the first pick,
What do I have,
that would be the
eighth
most
pick?
Miller thing ever, too.
What do I have? The 8th?
You are the
Yeah.
8th pick. And
I
then
don't
for the
hate that.
7th pick,
I don't love it. I
well,
wanted to
Brian,
be
you
it.
jinxed it. It's Ralphie Miller.
all right.
This is just unreal.
All right, let's
This is
see.
great podcasting.
Myers hasn't gone yet.
I know. Let's get him out of there. Let's cough his name up out of there, dude.
Take your time, Will.
Pick number 6 is Chris.
All right.
All right,
Mr.
we're
Beater.
halfway there.
All right, pick number, we're up to 5. It's going to be Myers.
All right, Mr. Myers.
Can
Mr.
we
Myers,
trade
pick
draft
number
picks?
5. Nah, I mean, I probably, nah.
I love the 5.
Probably. If you
he's
can
eyeing number
figure it
5.
out with someone, sure. Who's going to stop you?
Let me just.
It's gonna
Pick-
offer Myers a sip of
Pick number 4 is Ben.
BC4.
Pick 3 is myself.
Yeah, go figure.
Go
Yeah.
figure.
At least he's not one.
He didn't want one.
Only
He
2
wanted
guys left.
Yeah, no.
This person will go number 1, and then
Yeah, this will
whoever
be
you know
the
next.
first
Okay,
pick.
so first pick. So the
Yeah.
first
For
overall
the
pick
first pick.
is gonna be Max.
Wow.
So Max will be the first overall pick, and Adam
Congratulations
will
to
be
you,
the
Matt.
second overall pick. So just so everyone knows the order, Max will be pick 1, Adam will be pick 2, I will be pick 3, Ben is pick 4, Myers is 5, Chris is 6, Ralphie 7, Colin is 8, Brian is 9, Austin's 10, Jack is 11, and Jackson is 12.
All right.
Man,
Cool.
that Austin kid is fucked.
Hey man,
I
12
can't wait
spot.
for the banter there.
12 spot's gonna be the spot that wins it all.
We got I mean that's the first draft lottery ever. I guess it went a little quicker. No commercial breaks here. We don't drag it out to a 35-minute draft lottery special, hour-long, 3-day event. It's nice and quick. And stay tuned for the draft and the draft results. I think I kind of understand the tune of how this is going. This has been a long episode, different episode, crazy episode, fun episode, maybe the best one ever. I loved it, enjoyed it. Thanks again to Chris for hopping on. Will jumps in for the little lottery at the end. I'll see you guys soon. I'm out. Peace. Oh, wait,
Thanks,
hold on.
Chris.
D-ball shot. I'm winning the league.
Brian,
Damn,
don't-
he hit that?
Yeah,
Is
he
that
did.
too rough?
Don't hurt yourself this week, Brian. Please.
Yeah, I will.
That's
Well,
2 in a
yeah.
row.
Don't hurt yourself.
I will not accidentally triple my chair this week.
Good. Good to hear that.